Yo, the New York XL just handled business against the San Francisco Shock with the 3-1 victory. And like the guys at the desk said, they're pretty much a shoo-in for the Stage 3 playoffs, and they'll be able to go for back-to-back stage titles. I bet you New York fans are loving that. Moving along, we got the Seoul Dynasty going against the Philadelphia Fusion. The last time these two teams faced off, it was the Seoul Dynasty who came out with the victory 3-1. But since then, these teams have been going in opposite trajectories. It seems like the Philadelphia Fusion, they've been improving a lot more. And the Seoul Dynasty, they haven't been quite performing up to what we're used to seeing them perform. So this match, definitely a heat check. It can go in either way. And I'm ready for this, baby. So Blizzard Arena, you ready for the final match of the night? Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling and kick it over to Puckett and the band at the desk. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, Malik. That's right, we're here for the final party of the night. Make some noise, Blizzard Arena. We got Johnny, we got Crow, and we got one more series to get into. All right.
Yeah, the hype, yeah.
It's so hype in here, Johnny.
I'm
gonna pull a Monty, though, and kill the hype. And bring up the Stage 3 standings once again, because this one is a serious matchup. Just like our last series, we're going to see two teams that are in the hunt for a top 4 finish at the end of next Saturday. Remember, it's only the top 4 playing in the playoffs on Sunday. And right now, Seoul and Philly sitting at 3-3, but you got 3 squads directly above them with just 4 match wins.
But Philly is almost guaranteed to be in at this point. They really have a freebie with Seoul and Valiant being the really toughest opponents. Valiant at the last week, they have a really tough schedule. Look at that, Dragons and Field. Those two are, or have to be wins for Philadelphia. With a 7-3 record, this team is looking primed to be 4th or 3rd in playoffs.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, you have the Seoul Dynasty, of course. I mean, rougher schedule, you don't have Fuel, and you don't have Shanghai. Instead, you have Excelsior and Spitfire and Fusion, and oh boy, they're not going to make the stage playoff.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this, and it's kind of sinking in a little bit slow. They got a win over Shock, the Fuel, and Shanghai. That's 3 of their wins so far, and it only gets worse from here. So, Seoul, if you want a chance to get in the playoffs, you got to start hot here today. Let's get the official predictions and get into the game as fast as we can, starting with you, Crumbs. Where you leaning?
So I'm going with Philadelphia Fusion. Last time they played, sure, they lost against San Francisco, but they were very clearly worn out and not prepared for that match. Right now, I think they're coming in fresh and going up against the Seoul that isn't even Fleta or fielding Fleta for map 1. This is Philadelphia all the way.
Hating on the lack of Fleta here. Okay.
Of course. How could you
not? Superstar. It's kind of like benching your quarterback. Don't do it. All right, Johnny, where are you leaning?
Yeah, well, we got some Seoul fans. I'm sorry. We got the Philadelphia Fusion all the way. It's an easy pick for me, honestly. And Doa, yeah, gotta be casting this game. Why do you pick the Seoul Dynasty? If you watch Watchpoint, you know that Doa predicted the Seoul Dynasty to win. What's the matter, dude? It's an easy Philadelphia Fusion win.
Doa, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'll jump on the Seoul hype train today. Are you guys ready to meet some guys from Seoul? Let's bring out our first team in our final match. It's the Seoul Dynasty. Looking at the overall record, one of the best in the league at 17-9 overall. In this stage, though, their worst performance to date, 3-3. They've been struggling. They need to right the ship right now.
Yeah, part of those struggles have been in an indecisiveness when it comes to who they are going to be fielding in every match. Today, we see Wakid and Munchkin starting in Anubis. Now, we know that Wakid typically comes in here because of the junk rep, but Munchkin's substitution over Fleta, that's the one that I'm really just puzzling about. Like, why would you not just
Is that for the Tracer, Johnny? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it has to be the Tracer, right? Because a lot of pros, they say that if you're a Tracer player, you really have to just grind the Tracer. It's so hard to stay on top. So it has to be Munchkin's Tracer. And also Wakid, he has like decent Genji. We've seen it at times. It's really flashy. And then you have Rija Hong back in the lineup, of course. He didn't play last week. It was all the Guido show. And it did perform pretty well. Zephyr is back in the lineup. We've seen him swap between Sunba back and forth. So they're really trying to change things up. And I think for stage 4, they're trying to find at least some consistency.
Now, if you remember their last matchup for Seoul, they fell to Boston, but that was just a 1-2, a very close series here.
Oh, for sure.
We'll see if they can start off hot today. You need to get those first 2 maps in the bank. Miro, Munchkin, Toby, Ryu, Jaehong, Zephyr, and Wicked. I almost say Zumba. It's Zephyr. Zephyr in the starting lineup. Let's get it right and now send it over to the other side of the stage. Are you guys ready? Please welcome the Philadelphia Fusion. You got 17-9 overall for the Seoul Dynasty. Philadelphia right behind them on our season leaderboard at 16-10. Also a 3-3 record in
That was a pretty
Seoul.
decent walkout game, I have to say. Snillo is not in the lineup right now, but he wasn't leading the charge, so Neptunio looking back, making sure all these team members following out. Pretty decent walkout game.
How
gotta
can
say.
you put somebody in the lineup that plays Briggy in free-for-all? That's just, you don't do that.
I do
if
it all
you're
day.
that kind of player, you get out. I'm playing Doomfist. I'm one-shotting you because I have a problem with you.
If you're May, you can't touch me. All right. Don't play May in free-for-all. All right, Boombox, definitely keep your eyes on the Zenyatta, but let's be honest. If you're Seoul Dynasty, who do you need to be most afraid of today, Johnny? Who's the guy to look out for?
Carpe, do you remember that guy? He's pretty spooky, yeah? He's pretty spooky.
Well, not just Carpet, but I think EQO as well. These are the kinds of players that are very calculated when it comes to making sure that you suffer for your mistakes. They will punish you, and it's going to buy time out of the clock. Time is money in Overwatch, and so these two guys combined make sure that those D.Va D-Max, Zephyr, he can't get D-Maxed or else he's going to be suffering.
Remember, we are looking for our MVP. Let us know using the hashtag OWLMVP. Who do you think has been a huge contributor to their team? Carpe is still number one on my list. We'll see if he can get the job done against the Seoul Dynasty today. We got our players set. We got our match set. Blizzard Arena, are you guys ready? Let's find out if Monty is going to take an even bigger lead over Doa in the prediction standings. It's Monty and Doa with the call.
Hey, you know, Puckett, I thank you. Shut up for a second. I thank you for being my, fellow Pander Bear there for me. I appreciate that. But the thing is I'm actually closer in the, prediction standings to Monty than I've ever been. It was like 118 to 120, and for the only non-analyst on that show, I feel pretty good about that. So, there you go. That's me expressing my own personal pride in myself on this broadcast. That was a moment for me. Thank you for being here with me. But here's our match, guys. Right? It's going to be Seoul Dynasty versus Philadelphia Fusion. And the thing is, Seoul still has a chance because they put Jaehong in.
I see.
It's
Is
a slim
that
chance.
the new rationale? Going back.
That's always
going
been
back.
the rationale. That's not new at all.
We talked about their performance this stage, but factually, even before this stage, the last 10 games, Seoul has only won 4, and those are 4 wins against the 4 teams at the bottom of the standing: Fuel, Dragons, Mayhem, and Shock. So this has been a massive struggle for them.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's a team that is struggling to even find what their identity is right now. With all the swaps with Guido in inexplicably for Jaehong, when, statistically he's clearly the better support. We've got Gambler in there kind of fighting for that spot that Toby occupied. And it's just a lot of strange things happening on Seoul Dynasty right now. And, speaking of strange things, I mean, you've got Wekiden and not Fleta. The answer is you'd probably want to run at some point the Junkrat along with that. But I suppose here's the thing, is the Widowmaker's really good on point A. But if the rest of the team is going to have a hard time holding point A, your Widow from Fleta is not going to give you a lot. So you might as well go for something that works on both points. I don't know. What do you think the logic is there?
I'm not sure, because Wakid looks like he's going to play Genji, which is certainly a hero that Fleta has shown some talent on.
I don't know.
And would be the better flex over to the Widowmaker. But I do agree the Junkrat is probably the primary reason. They are just going to run Tracer Genji here on their point A attack. Yeah. Meanwhile, Philadelphia Fusion boosted Boombox with the Mei over into the back. So he is alone deep in the back line. The rest of his team is going to be playing a more aggressive defense.
And Carpe on that Widowmaker, of course, too, as Soul tries to go on the attack. Munchkin trying to flank from the side, makes it past the Junkrat trap. Pretty good start for that. You don't want to die to the trap immediately. A little bit later, here comes a dive. Miro going in again. And he doesn't get picked off, so Soul still pushing forward here. They dislodge Philly a little bit from that high ground, but there goes Miro, who's been a bit out of sync, it seems like, with the rest of his team for quite a while now.
And there's no resurrecting
and
that.
A pause.
And there is a pause. So
right.
coming into this attack, it's interesting to see what Seoul is doing with this Zenyatta very far in the back on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. They're not trying a long flank. Instead, they're trying to punish that positioning by going heavy onto the front line. That time it doesn't work. The Mercy from the Fusion is there to heal them up, and they're putting out the damage up front with the Junkrats. So bit of a miscue, I think, from Seoul there, but you rarely see this positioning on these defenses. Normally, the Zenyatta would be on the opposite high ground on the other side of the point with the Junkrat, and the Widowmaker would be where the Zenyatta, where Boombox is right now. So
yeah, true enough.
They're mixing it up. May take Seoul a little bit to adapt to this.
Well, it's a great thing to do against a team that's having a lot of coordination issues right now, like the Seoul Dynasty. I mean, if you throw in something that extra that they have to adapt to, that's just kind of capitalizing on that. And I think that's just one of the things that's making Philly one of the best teams in the league right now, is their ability to sort of read the weaknesses of their opponents and then kind of exploit that. So we are back. Seoul Dynasty, their first attack still commencing. They're kind of filtering around through the left side. Wakid taken down by Carpe. A little bit low health, and that was something easy for one of the best Widows in the league to take advantage on.
And they're trying, Munchkin's trying to zone out this Mercy from getting the resurrection right now, but it's not going to work.
Boombox finds him.
They just didn't wait for Miro at all. They took the fight while Miro was walking out of the spawn. Instead, staggered themselves, got one kill on the EQO, who was immediately res. So Seoul actually just wasted a bunch of their own time in that attack.
Yeah. Don't worry, this will be the last time I predict Seoul Dynasty on Watchman. I promise. I've learned my lesson. I mean, we got a lot, you know, we've only just gotten started, but I feel like I'm learning my lesson already. The dive comes in from Seoul immediately here. A lot of damage onto Jaehong. He barely survives. Here comes a Riptire from EQO. Who's going to stop it? I don't think anyone is. Jaehong caught by that one. The res from Toby right there.
But the thing is, Wakid actually snuck through. He was in that room, but he wasn't seen by the Riptire. They don't know he's right behind them right now.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. Wakid comes in right now. A lot of damage onto Boombox. Boombox trying to fight for his spot up on this high ground. Now the self-destruct comes in. Wakid needs to hide from it. Fraggy taken down, but he got Miro on the way out, though. So it's a 5v5, but there goes Wakid. EQO ready for him with the concussion mine. Seoul down on the point right now, but they can't keep Zephyr in the mech. He's going to try to remech here. Use that self-destruct. Now Jaehong pops a Transcendence to make sure that Diva is secure. Neptuno and Toby both down. No mercy for either side, but Seoul getting a little bit of purchase on the point. Close to 2 ticks right now. Munchkin just trying to zone people out. Nice kill onto Carpe there. They got to get back on there, though. Got to deal with EQO. A chance for Philly to kind of come back into this one, but the respawns from Seoul might be enough to put it away.
Yeah, Fraggy gonna drop the supercharger just because he knows this is the last hurrah for his Orisa, most likely. And if he can make it work, then that's great. Pulse Bomb takes out the supercharger, and Philly slowly making their way back to the point.
I mean, that's the thing. They didn't kill enough of them decisively enough on the Seoul side, and Philadelphia able to slowly reinforce back onto the point.
The start of that just looked so good for Seoul because Wakid was able to sneak behind without them knowing them knowing he was there. But at the end, it just comes down to everybody piling into this hallway, trapped there onto Wakid. EQO punishes them for extending into that tight corridor.
And Miro with the dive along with Zephyr onto that high ground there. Wakid, a lot of damage onto Fraggy. And Poco as well. Jaehong finds a pick on the Carpe. That's a big one. Talk about counter sniping. Self-destruct comes in. Oh, it gets Zephyr. Fraggy knocked him out of his mech just in time. EQO down, though. Another Transcendence for the Philly side as they try to hold the point. They've given up 2 ticks already. But they do have a kill on the Wakid. There goes Neptuno, though. Miro finally coming up with a big one. And there's a Dragon Blade. Wakid has a chance to put this one away right now. A chance to take point A. And they need to do it. 20 seconds remaining. He needs to have a big blade. And it looks like that may finally be enough to get Seoul started here on point B. It was down to the wire, but they've got a shot.
And only 4 minutes remaining. They have a Transcendence, but that's one more ultimate than Philadelphia Fusion has for the moment. But Neptuno will be there with a Valkyrie soon. So they're going to start poking around the edges, seeing where the weaknesses in the Fusion defense are.
On board with Jaehong right now, and that Zenyatta going to pop the Transcendence as they charge forward here. We'll see if Philadelphia decides to do any sort of reverse charging. Got to get back to those critical health members. He loses Munchkin, though. Jaehong scrambling. The team really split up right now. And Toby has to back away with him. It looks like they're going to give it up there. They just couldn't keep the tanks up.
They couldn't keep them up even with both support ultimates used.
I mean, I feel like you see the team just sort of scatter to the winds as they approach point B there on the Seoul side, and kind of a bunch of little skirmishes that Philadelphia Fusion can win.
Well, one thing that we can suss out, I think, from them playing Wakid tonight is that they're much more interested in their defense. Because if they were interested in their attack, they would be running Fleta on the Genji. But instead, they're prioritizing the better Junkrat skills of Wakid. So Fusion, they're holding strong right now, but we should expect a stronger defense from Seoul than an attack, and whatever Seoul can get, if they can complete this map at all.
It's interesting. EQO has that Riptire ready to go. A lot of ultimates on the Philly side in general. Now charging forward a little bit, trying to get a bit more damage onto Miro. He's going to bounce Wakid into the air, pops that Reflect. Looks like Wakid will get out for the moment. And here's the dive from Miro. He's bit on his own. Where's the supports here? You're about half health down. He's got Munchkin. Oh no, EQO catches him. Great shot in the corner there with that one. And EQO just waiting. He's got everybody right where he wants him right now, it seems like. Zephyr chases him in there. I think he might have gotten hit by the trap, but hard to tell. Either way, Weki does go down, and Seoul Dynasty on the retreat. Now everybody grouped up. Oh man, and it is a shooting gallery at least, or a grenade throwing gallery. I don't think they make those, but
Close enough. Close enough.
Oh, that's a brutal body block by Fraggy. Oh no! Oh no, the humanity.
That is actually one of the worst blocks I've ever seen.
I think that is actually the longest Diva stagger I may have ever seen. There's been a couple long Volskaya ones, but that was definitely one of the worst. Oh.
I think the real question is, why did Miro use the Primal Rage? Because there weren't going to be support ultimates up. Once they took the initial blow, once they took the initial kill, there wasn't a way that Primal Rage was really going to get them back into the fight. And now they're down when they could be pushing back in right now with 6 ultimates, or at least 5.
Well, speaking of 6 ultimates, that's exactly what Philadelphia Fusion are going to have before too long. Poco very close, and the efficiency has been great from these guys. They just haven't needed to use it. Miro just runs it and dies. What is this? Fraggy down as well. All right. But they lose Toby. Okay, so as the blade comes in from Wekid, no health remaining, no support at all, and he gets nothing done with that. 1 minute remaining for Seoul.
And they didn't even force anything, right? They forced a self-destruct. So, okay, you really didn't get anything out of that push at all. You saw the late Dragon Blade, and the reason why that came out was he was hoping he could get a support ult so they would have an advantage in the next fight. But because he gets nothing now, they're in even deeper trouble than they would have been.
Yep. Carpe takes quite a bit of damage in the initial Tracer duel, jumps back to his team for some healing. Seoul Dynasty coming in now. They need to make this attack work, and they've already lost Miro before the fight even begins. Now, what can you say? Seoul Dynasty having a lot of issues, and man, a triple kill and a mech D-mech from EQO's Riptire. And put a bow on this one. It is all wrapped up.
This defense on B has been a slaughter in favor of the Philadelphia Fusion.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how strong their ult economy is still. They've had to use basically nothing to stop these pushes, and Miro's going down first every time.
Yep. Philadelphia Fusion with a fantastic defense there. That was
really good.
Some pretty spectacular ult efficiency, but you know, the members of Seoul Dynasty appear to be really desynced right now. And here's EQO, probably that 3-man.
Yep,
Riptire
just to clean up right at the end. Why not drop it right over the pylon?
Wow. So, when it's all said and done, Seoul unable to take point B, and already a golden opportunity for Philly to get a win here on Temple of Anubis.
Seoul needs to, right now, they have to have some sort of full hold scenario, because if point A is taking, the best they can hope for is a tie.
Yeah. Now, this is a pretty good map for Philadelphia Fusion. They are 6-1 on this map overall in Overwatch League. Seoul is 4-1-3, so not a terrible map for them, but certainly not as good as it's been for Philly.
Yeah, and it's, even though they have a winning record, it's still one of their worst Assault maps. Seoul is actually historically very good on Assault, but a lot of their strengths comes from big streaks on Horizon and Hanamura.
Right.
So it hasn't been the Assault maps in this pool, or excuse me, Volskaya. It's Horizon and Volskaya. I think typically do better on.
I think the maps do get a little bit stronger for Seoul as the match does go on. They are 6-1 on Route 66 later, 6-4 on Nepal, which is okay. And they are 2-1-1 on Blizzard World, so take that for what it's worth. But this is arguably their roughest map of the series. Results-wise, anyway.
Yeah, Fusion's been doing good on some of the later maps as well. Pretty big win streak for them on Route 66 right now.
Yeah, 7-3 for them on that one.
So there probably will be more tightly contested maps later in the series, but we'll see how Seoul can do on this defense. Wekid, as suspected, on the Junkrat. Munchkin taking over on the Widowmaker.
Gonna give it a shot on defense. So it is that Widow, along with the Junkrat we expected here. See how Philadelphia Fusion approaches this. They're just kind of biding their time, sending EQO around the side as you often do. Fraggy, low health, has to get out of there right away. Munchkin hitting some pretty decent shots. But now the trap activated. He knows that EQO is coming for him. Oh, and now he's gone. Munchkin read that one like a book.
Well, Fraggy was trying to distract the Widowmaker so EQO would have a chance to get in, but he didn't make his move until after the initial engagement had gone down, but that may not matter, Doa.
Res onto Carpe now as they take out Wekid as well. Carpe barely survives. EQO comes back around. It's pretty much Munchkin needing to carry this fight, but he's taken some damage. He needs to get a ton of kills here. Fraggy, there's one. All right, the Winston out of the way. Philadelphia Fusion with a big edge in the fight. Now Wekid gets a kill to Neptuno, actually, so Seoul Dynasty scrambling and turning this fight around in the end. It's only Carpe left harassing the point right now.
Yeah, Munchkin's putting out a lot of damage. Carpe, as you say, the only one remaining, and he has to go back through the choke point to rejoin his tank. So Philly back at square one right now. Riptire was used to clean up that fight, so Wekid is not going to have that in the next engagement.
You know, I've been impressed with Munchkin in the early seconds here. Look at that, another kill on the Boombox here. He is actually hitting his shots pretty well today. Reds is going to come in. And the Fraggy shield will go ahead and protect the supports for the most part. As they approach the point right now, Munchkin, again, just trying to lock them down. Needs to really be aware of where EQO is at all times. Munchkin on the run. Big dive to take him out. They even pull out the Dragon Blade. Munchkin and Wekid down, so Seoul without their DPS right now.
They're trying to come back in, and they're trying to save their ults as well. Is Jaehong going to use the trance? He is going to try and use it.
Wow, they are really putting everything into this one. Desperation from Seoul Dynasty. Like you said, Monty, they need to hold A if they want to have a chance of winning this map, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out. Toby nearly dead already, somehow still alive. Toby and Jaehong are very good at keeping each other alive, but there's only so much you can survive. Zephyr does get the kill in the end, but that will be Philadelphia Fusion, I think, eventually taking this one.
I mean,
Miro and Toby Munchkin
just killed both of the supports, so no protection, and it's only Carpe and Poco left on the point.
You know, they went so deep to dive after the supports that it delayed Philly a little bit, gave Seoul a chance to maybe come back. Miro needs some healing. He's getting it now from Toby. They're going to jump back in. It's only Poco on the point. The rest of the team scrambling to catch up with the respawns.
Finally making it back, but Poco's going to have to use his self-destruct.
Yep, that's right. Not catching anybody with that, but he does get back into the mech. It's pretty much just a remech. That Striptire needs to be big, and he does catch Boombox with it. One support out of the way. Doesn't look like the res can come in with Neptuno going down. Munchkin finding another one, and man, getting the pulse bomb onto Fraggy too. Munchkin is a hero right now.
And Seoul may be pulling it out. Less than a minute remaining. They have a Primal Rage and a self-destruct. They can drag this out for some time. EQO looking like he's going to have a Dragon Blade available to him. No support ult, so maybe if he can get back to Jaehong before he gets trance, they can make this work. But EQO has had a tough time at getting into the back lines.
Yeah, sure has, man. Munchkin first hitting the shots on the Widowmaker, then swapping to the Tracer, getting so many picks, and Miro just delaying, using that Primal Rage pretty early, actually, but pushing Philadelphia back. They've got 20 seconds remaining now. Both support ultimates and the Dragon Blade. They're going to have the Pulse Bomb, too. Jaehong will have his Transcendence. That's one support ult for Seoul Dynasty, along with the self-destruct. More delaying tactics, 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, 10 seconds now. Miro over the top. He was a little bit trapped with the rest of his team. Now getting aggressive. Transcendence used. Both support ultimates used on the Philadelphia side. They just need the one tick. Dragon Blade pulled out. Self-destruct. Catches Boombox. EQO being zoned out by Miro. They've got it. Seoul Dynasty somehow turning this fight to their advantage. And Wekid puts a nail in the coffin with the tire onto Neptuno. Overtime expiring. And Seoul Dynasty will actually pull it out of the fire and take Temple of Anubis.
And there you go, Noah. That's why you play Wekid. You may not have the stronger attack, but you're banking on the better Junkrat for defense. And that's what Seoul does. And they'll take a 1-0 lead in this series on a map that the Fusion were 6-1 on. So very well done by Seoul.
I'm going to say it again, too. Here's an example of it. I was very impressed with how Munchkin performed on the defense there. Hit a lot of great Widowmaker shots at the beginning, then became this Tracer that bailed him out along with Wekid. That was a good defense for Philly on their defense, but Seoul comes up bigger. 1-0 lead for them. Map 2 when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Sour Patch Kids. Sour, sweet, gone.
showtime. Seoul Dynasty will have their cake, and you know the leader too. Philadelphia Fusion will be on the attack.
Carpe going for the cheeky stick.
Look at this! Jaehong, unbelievable, found himself 2 kills, a 3rd kill for Jaehong. How is he doing this?
This is getting out of hand.
Oh, I can do this all day. Give me more.
Oh,
Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe. Are you still with me? Yes, they are. So, Ryu Jaehong used to be a staple in the starting 6 for the Seoul Dynasty. However, not quite anymore recently. We've seen him being subbed in and out or not play at all, like last week. So I talked to their nurse earlier today, and she told me that he's not been physically ill last week. He's just not been feeling great. So he just felt like he needs a break, more like to recover mentally from like losses or like the tough practice schedule also. So I inquired further to her and their coaching staff about the team morale and mentality after living in America for like 3 months now. Are they being homesick? How are those guys feeling? And they told me that it's a bit of an up and down, and to sum up their response, they basically just said that, you know, when they're winning, they're up. When they're not winning, not so much. But right now, they're 1-0 up. Let's see if they can keep that momentum going and take this series home. So for all the action, we once more heading back to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. That's right. Kind of sounds like my ranked game experience. You know, when I'm winning, I'm up. When I'm losing, you know, it's not the greatest day. I can relate to a much lower skill degree. Yeah.
And fortunately, your job doesn't depend on your ranked experience.
I am super happy that my job doesn't depend on me winning games of Overwatch. That is, I feel very good about that. Yep. Well, I'm sure Seoul is feeling pretty good about that last map. They're going to put in Fleta. Wow, that was an icy gaze of a stone cold killer there for a second. Man, going in for Weki, which makes sense as we move towards Blizzard World if they want to run the Widowmaker Tracer. And after Munchkin performed defensively on that Tracer last match, I think they've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
In spite of Seoul's woes, one of their most interesting features has been Fleta's Widow versus Widow stats this stage, where he is currently in Widow kills versus Widows that kill him. He is at a 3.75 KD, which is about 0.75 higher than the next player, Saya player, and he has 30 kills on Widow and only 8 on him. So he has been incredibly dominant in the Widow versus Widow matchup, and that's going to be impactful on maps like Blizzard World Point B, on Route 66 later on.
Yeah.
Also, probably Sanctum on Nepal if we go to that point.
That's certainly possible. It's a big hurdle for Seoul to overcome to win that last map. That was, you know, like we said, on paper, probably their worst map in the series. And you know, while they're fairly even with Philly on some of the other ones, they've had pretty good results. So I think we're in for an interesting series now.
Yeah, definitely. And especially with Carpe, who's been great on the Widowmaker recently, but we haven't seen as much Tracer play. Obviously, Snillo was taking a lot of those duties. They're not going to put in Snillo here because they want the flexibility of the Tracer player playing the Widowmaker as well for
Makes
point
sense.
B. So he's back over to the Tracer.
Here we go. Fleta on that Widowmaker, Munchkin once again on the Tracer. As they move forward here. See what they can do. See if they can grab any picks. Munchkin going way around the right side, trying to find that 1v1 versus Carpe, or maybe Carpe is trying to find him.
Carpe is just waiting right now. Fleta going to come up here. He does have the Tracer to help him out, getting pocketed by Toby. Carpe just trying to do a little damage as he leaps down into the fray.
Oh, Munchkin is supposed to be on Fleta protection duty. Meanwhile, EQO gets Zephyr and Miro, so the fight not going well elsewhere for Seoul. Philadelphia, a pretty strong defense there, and Seoul has to back away.
This doesn't really work for the Seoul Dynasty if everyone is at the same place as Fleta. The idea is you need to apply pressure elsewhere to open up the sight lines for the Widowmaker and draw pressure away from your sniper. So balling up, I'm not sure is going to be the best tactic for them.
Fleta getting really aggressive. Wow, going around the other side. He's got the infra sight, so you can see where everyone is right now. Trying to draw people around the corner, runs away, gets the healing, the dive comes in. Seoul Dynasty, let's see if they can take advantage with the counter dive. No, Carpe goes down. Zephyr does get Boombox though. Seoul getting some time on the point, but they need to win this one. They can't do it without their supports. Fraggy coming up huge with a couple support kills, and that's gonna be another easy hold for Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, no tick taken, barely any time on the point at all for the Seoul Dynasty. I'm not sure what they thought was going to happen. He saw, when Fleta saw Poco, he knew the Diva was there because of the Inversight, still peeked on Poco, let Poco know where he was, and then got dove.
I do not know what other result he was expecting there, but maybe just supreme confidence, who knows. Not any confidence in the Widowmaker anymore as he swapped over to the Pharah now. Trying to find a couple kills, nearly got one with the concussion grenade there.
I mean, I love this against the Tracer Junkrat combinations, especially with Fleta, who's probably the best Pharah that we have in Overwatch League.
Probably.
Playing these, this is how you can play against this if you want to stay grouped up. Create space with the Pharah, slowly push in.
Well, they're going in. Toby popped the Valkyrie. Soul committing to this attack here. Fled up on the high ground. They've got Fraggy a little bit separated from his team along with Carpe. Fraggy trying to escape, but the Riptire coming in. EQO could have a big one. It's not going to save you. Oh, EQO down. Okay, they got the Riptire in the end. I was going to say, through the Transcendence, you can still kill people like that. Miro does get taken out by Fraggy, and now the later support ultimates come in for Philly, and they're going to hold this point again. Soul on the run.
You can try and push your support ults like Soul did, but if you're not actually picking up any kills during them and you're not pressuring the point, Philadelphia has no reason to re-engage you with support ults of their own. They can melt back and wait for the storm to end.
Well, that's the thing, is it feels like we're back on Anubis again, where there's really no sense of direction for the attack from Soul. Everyone's just kind of firing at whoever they feel like, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of concentrated effort, you know, to go a certain direction.
Yeah, I agree with you, Doa. Jaehong gonna try and look for an optimistic volley around the corner. Doesn't get anything with that one. Does get some high ground damage, though.
Gets a piece of Boombox with that one, but that's about it. Fraggy coming in, not a lot of health left, and oh, he gets Jaehong on the way, though. Carpe finishes him off. Fleta needs a massive barrage if they want to have any chance of taking this point. They're down to 20 seconds, and Philadelphia chasing him out. Okay, they're going to back away. They're going to try to go for one more push. But you've just killed Fraggy. I mean, that's an odd decision.
Fraggy's going to come back, and the thing is, Fleta is... he's vacating this point. Nobody's on it, but the tanks aren't there to actually force Philly to re-engage.
Yeah.
They're trying to flank. They just need to get on the point.
Here we go. Munchkin had to recall out of that one in a hurry. They forced the overtime. They got to get their self-destruct coming in. Munchkin on the point right now. Jaehong down. Fraggy stomps him. And now Boombox pops that Transcendence. They're going to use the support ultimates. And Boombox taken out. Toby, though, down to Carpe. Seoul Dynasty scrambling, but I don't know if they've got what it takes here to take this one. Looks like Philadelphia Fusion might get this hold. A really late barrage gets EQO, but it really gets Seoul pretty much nothing overall. Zephyr and Munchkin, the only ones around, trying to hold it and they can't. A great full hold for Philadelphia.
And how rarely do we see full holds on Blizzard World? This is
not often.
Not something that happens every day. And in spite of the fact that I like the tactical change, Philadelphia basically just ignored the Pharah because they had the luxury to do so. They weren't ever forced to fight into the open because no one was actually on the point. And instead, they just play around the Pharah, play under the cover of the buildings, pop out, kill a support or kill Miro, and then just fall right all the way back in.
Pretty much. And now Seoul finds themselves on a similar situation to Anubis. Even more so, though, where they need to put together a pretty insane defense if they even want to tie this one.
And it looks like we may see Fleta now taking over the Junkrat duties. So Tracer Junkrat may be their choice on defense also.
Yep.
Wow, Philadelphia wants to switch over once again to the Tracer Genji dive. But this, they weren't doing well with this on their attack on Anubis. We'll see if they have been able to pull it together in the last few minutes.
I suppose the difference here is that all they need is a single tick on point A to win the map, tie up the series, whereas on Temple of Anubis they need to fully take point A and then take a bit of B.
At that point, though, when you only need that one kill, why not just put Carpe on the Widowmaker and then get a pick and then go for the one tick, right? I think that's a really efficient way to do it, especially with how Carpe's been playing on the Widow. Maybe they are concerned about a Widowmaker defense from Seoul.
It's possible, I suppose.
I think you probably believe that will happen before you believe that it's going to be Fleta on the Junkrat. Seems like the less likely defense that Seoul would run.
They're going to go for it, though.
Yeah, they've run it before.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen Fleta on Junkrat, but Wiki has definitely had better results on that hero. Here we go. Philadelphia Fusion on the attack. All they need is one tick on point A to tie up this series. Win Blizzard World.
They're going to try and flank around the side. Carpe will be going the opposite direction of the rest of the team. Trying to scout, see where all their players are. Miro is pretty far away from the front line right now. He's going to just walk up and join Zephyr.
EQO taking the very long way around too. Now the dive comes in. Fraggy a little bit low. Has to be careful here. Poco trying to hit Miro, but he's got the shield down, not doing a whole lot. Both tanks have lost quite a bit of health. Poco needs to back away. EQO separated from the rest of his team here. And Poco jumping back in again. Carpe down. Miro helped finish him off. Zephyr did get Fraggy too. Poco in the trap. Let it back up. The res came in. And there's the DMAC. And now Zephyr, oh, turn around. There's somebody behind you. Poco doesn't survive too long. Get some damage done, but that's going to be a hold from Seoul for now.
Yeah, but the late death onto Miro may be the difference. Seoul might have overextended there.
Yeah,
no chance for a resurrection, and now the respawns are coming in from Philly. It's going to be a 6 versus 5.
Yeah, Toby used the res on Fleta towards the end of that fight, so it's definitely still on cooldown right now. Miro needs to get back in a hurry, but Philadelphia Fusion with the edge here if they go now.
Yeah, they're going to get here just before Miro does.
Yep, that's right. Jumping onto the high ground. Miro needs to respond. Dragon Blade coming out. Fleta in trouble. Shoots himself away. Over the siege tank he goes. Meanwhile, Boombox gets him. Oh, what a chase! And Fleta wins the duel in the end anyway. Neptuno gets a res onto Boombox, but fragging EQO down. So a res that doesn't really even get Philly anything. And Seoul's going to keep pushing here.
I mean, it has to be said at this point, EQO's Dragon Blades have been really underwhelming today.
Yeah,
and I like the switch over to Pharah. He only got 2 kills on the Dragon Blade on Anubis, and that was an overextension when the Junkrat still had some mines to escape.
Yep.
And now they're going to try the same tactics Philly used against them. They're going to go with the Pharah. We'll see if they can create more space on the point.
Yep, that's right. See if Seoul Dynasty can fight off what Philly did last time. Riptire coming in. It can go up the statue. You got to watch out for it. Riptire trying to find somebody. If they found Fraggy, a big pick for Fleta. Don't know if they can get in and get the res though. EQO just trying to lock people down with that Pharah. Jaehong having to dodge rockets, ducking and weaving. They've still got that Transcendence. Toby halfway towards his Valkyrie too.
Carpe is hiding in the back behind the point right now.
Right.
I don't think they know he's there. He does have to recall, yep.
Yeah.
And that's going to cost the rewind right as Fraggy's about to come in. That's a cooldown he'll want back.
A lot of ultimates for Philly now. Seoul Dynasty close, but not quite equal. Philadelphia with a chance here. That advantage, they're going to go ahead and use the Primal Rage on Miro. Carpe sneaking around the outside, gets the trap. He's taking the high ground. EQO pulling in. Seoul Dynasty push back to the choke now. Remember, Philadelphia just needs 1 tick. Seoul can't let them be on the point for too long. Philadelphia continues to push forward there. They've got half the tick already. Oh, a big self-destruct from Zephyr. Gets Fraggy and Neptuno. EQO needs to have a massive barrage here if he's going to finish this one, but he's taken a lot of fire. He needs to back away. 30 seconds remaining. Miro comes in for the kill. They don't overextend, they hold it. Philadelphia Fusion has a chance for 1 more attack to get that 1 tick, but already another pretty stellar defense by Seoul.
Yeah, it has been, and 2 support ults there for Seoul also.
That's right, they got a big chance here. Zephyr was chasing down, or being chased down in the end. Not okay. Oh no, the stick comes in onto Toby. A great pulse bomb for Carpe. Boombox down though, so 1 support taken out. Jaehong goes ahead and pops the Transcendence. Gonna try to stay alive, but I think EQO is saving that barrage for just about right now. Zephyr flies into him, gets demeched. Got baited into that one a little bit. And Seoul's starting to fall apart here in a big way. There goes Fleta's Riptire. EQO somehow shoots it out of the air. And that tick nearly taken. Seoul Dynasty still has members, but now they lose Munchkin. Barrage comes in. Toby the focus. Jaehong finishes him in the end, but it's not going to be enough. Philadelphia Fusion will tie up this series at the last possible second.
But it is scary how close that was for Philadelphia, a team that only needed to take 1 tick.
Yeah.
It has been A game of anemic offenses from Seoul and the Philadelphia Fusion. What a bizarre match of Overwatch this is.
It's been a defensive effort so far for sure. 1 point total taken by both teams in the first 2 maps. Don't go anywhere, guys. Halftime coming up when we get back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And we are back. So far, Doe is still smiling. Seoul tied up 1-1 with the Philadelphia Fusion here at the half. Welcome back, everybody. It's Puckett, Reinforced Crumbs. You know these guys. You love his face.
Yeah, I'm back.
Johnny,
Hello.
you were kind of depressed after that first game. I tried talking back to you, but then it just turned into a big smile.
You never make official predictions, so
Never.
you don't have any right to talk
Ever.
smack, Puckett.
It's what I do. I make you guys look great or terrible. Johnny, let's start
Usually
with
terrible.
you.
Usually terrible, if I can say it myself.
How do you feel
I
about
miss
the
Golden
way
Boy.
your squad is performing? Because you picked Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah, I think, I mean, sure, on Anubis, it didn't look too great on the first point. It was really the Munchkin show on the Tracer and the Junkrat.
And the Widow.
And the Widow, of course. Yeah, but overall, I think that their defense was pretty solid. They held Seoul Dynasty to point B, didn't even get a tick, so it was what you expect from the Philadelphia Fusion, but really it was all about the Seoul Dynasty's point A hold, in my opinion.
Yeah, this ability to just shut down EQO has been paying dividends. Sure, the Widowmaker kills multiple members, but it's the Dragon Blades. Monty was pointing out only 2 kills out of a Dragon Blade in Temple of Anubis. It's something uncharacteristic out of EQO. Typically, we usually look at him in the post-game stats, just racking up kills. In fact, even last time he was in Temple of Anubis, he was the reason why they won on Genji.
Now, as we go forward here with Blizzard Blizzard World, this one was just a battle of defense. Both attackers really struggling. It took Philly down to that last minute to score.
It's so odd. Like we talked earlier in the San Francisco map about how Pharah didn't really work out last week, and now we see two Pharahs going head-to-head with EQO's Genji not really working out on offense either. And it's just so odd. Monte Cristo as for a Widowmaker. I didn't really know what was going on here.
That play saved the game. This was literally an individual won this game. Had Carpe not hit that stick, I'm fairly certain we would be 1-0 up from Seoul.
It's kind of like he should be in the running for the Overwatch League MVP presented by T-Mobile. Okay,
Whoa.
Carpe is still getting my votes. You guys should use the hashtag get involved. All right, Johnny, let's start here with Blizzard World.
Yeah.
Actually, Crumbs first. Let's go to you because
Okay.
I'm a diva player. You're a tank.
I
You
also
don't-
play Diva, but I can say I'm a Diva.
Now, most of the time, I'm dead and you're still alive. But in this case, it seemed like the diva from the Seoul Dynasty was only surviving after the rest of his team
Yes,
got
and
wrecked.
this is what we talked about in the pregame, about what Philadelphia loved to do against these mini divas, and they did it to Zephyr, and it was ugly because he gets D-Mech, and everyone's like, look at him, he's getting body blocked by a Funky, he's stuck in there.
Who
He's got
stacks
the
a
mech.
body block?
It doesn't even matter if he calls it. If he calls the mech, it's just gonna get killed and D-Mech right away, so he just has to accept his fate. It just hurts when that happens to you. You don't get it like that badly in competitive games, though. They make it worse. No prisoners.
Absolutely, my team just kills them instantly. Need that frag on
Oh,
the
love
stats.
that.
All right, Johnny, let's go to the Fleta discussion here because he was missing in game 1. You guys thought this would be a big deal. Game 2, he's back in the mix, but what's with all these Pharahs?
Yeah, I don't even know myself. So we went into Blizzard World and we just saw a bunch of Pharahs really, and I can't really explain why we saw a lot of Pharahs. There was a Junkrat on the defense, right? So you think, okay, they have nothing to kill the Pharah. But if you're a Pharah and you deal damage, but no one capitalizes on it, what are you really going to do as a Pharah, right? So Monte Cristo, he asked for a Widowmaker, and that didn't really happen as well. So we saw some Genji. Nothing really worked out, and I'm wondering why are these guys trying to play Pharah, and if so, incorrectly.
So, Johnny, go ahead, play us your clip. What do you got?
Yeah, well, it's basically just Fleta, right? He's playing the Pharah, and he's not really doing anything. So I just wanted to demonstrate
Just
further.
kind of floating around a little bit.
Yeah, so he's hitting a few shots. He got a shot onto EQ on the Junkrat here, but it gets easily healed up by Mercy, of course. So, I mean, this pick overall didn't really work out for me at all.
I have a theory here that might play
Enlighten
into
me.
it. I'm not
Enlighten
sure
me.
too much about how this is going to play out, but I was not impressed with what Fleta was doing by going melee range Widowmaker. That is just very uncharacteristic. The Pharah doing not a whole lot. It might just be that Fleta is just not playing up to the level that we normally expect him to be, and that's why you put Munchkin in, who clearly is stepping up. And if we heard that if you do well in scrims, you get put into the game, well, it might just be that Fleta's having a bit of a slump.
We've had 3 great series so far, or 2.5. Another one tied up here at halftime. How is this one going to play out? We have 2 more maps. Nepal, Route 66 coming up. Real quick, before we go, though, I want to give a shout out to the guy that's projecting onto a sign. Also, the Torb, too hot for you. You're amazing. Thanks for coming down to the Blizzard Arena. While we're in commercial, go to AXS.com. Once again, that is AXS.com. Get your Overwatch tickets if you want to be in the audience on Friday and Saturday. That's it for halftime. We'll see you for the second half in just a few.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back, everybody. It is a tie game so far in our matchup between the Seoul Dynasty and the Philadelphia Fusion, and it's really been a tight defensive matchup. We've been seeing full holds on both maps. Also, a lot of Pharah in that last map at Blizzard World kind of got me thinking about stage 4. I've been practicing a lot of Brigitte in quick play, and what I've noticed is every time I see Pharah, my soul burns because she just wrecks Brigitte. It's crazy. So I imagine we're gonna probably see a lot more of what we just saw in stage 4 if Brigitte is gonna be coming out on a lot of these teams' comps. Anyways, guys, for all the people at home with the Twitch All Access Pass, I wanna give you a friendly reminder that we're doing another AMA, and today it is with Poco of the Philadelphia Fusion. So stick around till after the matches if you have any questions that you've been burning to ask this guy. But anyway, guys, we got a whole half left. Who's gonna pull this one off? Let's find out right now. Send it back over to our casters, Monty and Doa.
All right, thanks, Malik. I'm guessing you're playing Brigitte in deathmatch only like I do.
Wow, scumbag.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't only play her in deathmatch. It is fun. I do feel the Pharah pain though too. There's not a lot you can do. Sometimes you can hit her with the chain shot, and just bounce her around a little bit, and you're like, that felt good. And then you die to rockets. But that's the important thing, is you feeling good. Anyway.
I'm not sure what was going on with the Pharah in that last match.
That was odd.
That was really strange. Like, we've seen Pharah be successful on point B, but in point A, like Reinforced was saying, there's not really any way to follow up on that damage because people can retreat so quickly into those structures that finishing off a kill becomes really difficult. So we'll see if Nepal is going to be a less confusing matchup between these teams, because it has been a weird series so far.
Yeah, I have no idea what to expect at this point. I did not expect it to be so low scoring. It's been a defensive affair from both teams so far, and we move on to our control map, Nepal. Now, Seoul comes into this one 6-4 in the Overwatch League on this map. Philadelphia Fusion, not quite as good at 3-5. But then again, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen at this point?
And speaking of who knows what's going to happen, are we going to see Fleda's Pharah with Munchkin's Widowmaker?
That would be on Sanctum. That would be interesting.
It would certainly be interesting. They would have very little point presence, so they'd have to get some kills with the Widowmaker or chunk someone out and finish them off with the Diva and the Winston.
So does Fleta just float up here and say anti-dive? How does Fleta not die to EQO? That's my question.
It's going to be a bit of a trick. They're going to start just by playing it very aggressively.
No kidding. Yeah, they're getting like right in there. Fleta. Oh, Fraggy camping the health pack there. Toby goes back to the Widowmaker, see what he can do. Fraggy, nearly bumped off there. That was a close one. Gets his health pack, gets the healing from Neptuno. Seoul Dynasty on the point first. They've only got Miro there right now, but it's enough to take it unless Philadelphia jumps on. Getting close. Fraggy and Poco on the point now. Fleta firing from on high.
But how do you
read a bit more though?
How do you take the point is my central question here, because you can see they're having trouble getting onto it.
They take it. All right. But Munchkin down.
But
so
can they hold it?
I do not know. All right, Fleta versus close range Widowmaker. Seems all sorts of interesting stuff here. Neptuno. Ooh, Carpe comes from behind for the kill there, and Philadelphia Fusion should be able to flip this one back. Zephyr's just going to delay as long as he can.
Yeah, so they can take it for 15%, but they're so exposed at that point in time.
Yeah, and there's the swaps immediately. Over to the Tracer Genji. Fleta changing things up a little bit along with Munchkin. So they're going to be behind the ult economy. They're going to have support ultimates, though. So will Philly.
I think they were expecting...
Oh, dear. EQO, or a Carpe rather, gets the stick on the Miro. They can't finish him, though.
They must have been expecting a Junkrat. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I think you're right, yeah. Oh, no J-Home now. Seoul scrambling a little bit. They're going to lose a few more people. They're going to get sent back to spawn. Philadelphia Fusion with about 30% there. Oh, Carpe going for the delay on the Miro, and he can't quite finish him off. That was super close.
It looked like he had about 1 HP there.
No kidding. Zephyr dies late, though, so that's going to be a Seoul slowed down. They're going to have 4 ultimates when they come back. None of their DPS ults, but so it's something to work with anyway.
I mean, they're going to be matched, though, which is the problem.
Fleta.
Fleta nearly getting destroyed by Carpe.
Yeah, a distraction.
He was trying to get on the flank.
A distraction to let Seoul kind of get through that doorway. Avoid the camping from Philadelphia. Now Carpe going into another pulse bomb. He stuck the last one to Miro, and he's going to stick it again.
No kill, though.
No, that might have gotten... I couldn't quite tell.
No, he got damaged. He was just the healing from the Mercy
okay.
kept him topped up.
That's tricky to see sometimes. Carpe backing away. That's going to be the ultimate from Toby. Going to pop that Valkyrie. Now Neptuno uses his. A later Mercy ultimate, trying to take advantage with Soul. Jehon still has his Transcendence. Fleta trying to stay alive. Boombox ends up getting the kill in the end. Now Miro with the Primal Rage. He's going to need to get a ton out of this to make it work. He killed, well, Toby and Jehon down. So that's not going to be great for Seoul. Philadelphia Fusion holding strong here, and they are at 90%. Seoul Dynasty almost certainly going to give this point up.
And there's another pulse bomb, gets deflected.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Quick reflexes from Fleta.
Yeah. Bold to go for a stick on the Genji there, but just trying to prevent people from getting in and stalling it out. Miro on his own. He had just used his Primal Rage, so he's not going to have that ultimate. Jehong diving in with the Transcendence, but Toby cut down immediately by EQO. And here comes a blade now for Fleta. EQO just shoots him out of the air. No danger there. Self-destruct comes in. Everyone dodges it. Zephyr gets back in his mech, but he's kind of on his own. Jehong firing from the side, but he can't really get to the point right now. That should be, well, Miro coming in, trying to stay alive. He's got that Orb of Harmony on him. Does he? Up to tell. It's over. Philadelphia Fusion will take Sanctum.
And having that self-destruct at the end, no way Seoul was going to be able to get back, and Seoul struggling mightily to retake the point after their initial few percentage.
So EQO struggling on the Genji earlier, but man, really lighting things up on the Widowmaker here.
You see Fleta during the Dragon Blade taken out. Great protection provided by EQO.
Definitely saved Neptuno there, that's for sure.
Like you said, the Genji has which has traditionally been great for him, has not been good today, but making up for it now on the Widowmaker.
Well, we're moving on to Shrine for our next map here. We'll see, or next round rather. We'll see if Seoul can tie it up or if Philadelphia Fusion will take a lead in this series. 2 map wins in a row.
EQO on the Genji once again. See if the break during halftime will help him reset his head and get some better Dragon Blades off. Will be matched by Tracer and Genji from Munchkin and Fleta on the Seoul Dynasty.
Yep. By taking that last point, Philadelphia has doubled the amount of points earned by both teams in this series. A total of 2. There we go. Point unlocked. Seoul. A lot of people on it right now, but they're going to have to fight for it. EQO getting in the back lines. Gets doped, though. Gets jumped on. Seoul tanks trying to protect people. Zephyr taking a lot of damage. Fraggy low. Munchkin finishes him off, but they lose Toby. The protection on the supports has not been stellar from Seoul today. They do get Neptuno, and they do take the point. So just like on Sanctum, they'll claim it first, but they're losing so many people. I think Fusion might just be able to rock back in and flip this one.
They will. It's a 4 versus 3 in favor of the Fusion now.
Yep.
Poco might get demected, and indeed he does. So Fleta will accomplish that feat before his dying breath, but the point flips again after 16%. And Philly retake with ease.
All right, so Seoul finds themselves on the outside looking in one more time. Getting close to a few ultimates here. See if they can use them to take the point.
EQO already with the Dragon Blade. See if he has some more success this time. Everybody's lined up right now. Oh,
Jehong.
The one clip from Carpe.
Yeah, good finish here. Toby gets a res, but now that Pulse Bomb's getting a little bit scary. Carpe lurking on top here, waiting for the supports to come out. Mike one to Fleta, doesn't get the stick, it hits the shield instead. Bureau dead either way. Philadelphia holding.
Carpe stuffing this push, and EQO doesn't have to pull the blade. Calmly.
Oh, Fleta's in big trouble.
Throwing some stars on the flank. Fleta, can he live through this? Carpe was on the other flank.
Yeah, they tracked him down, and that's a great stagger for Philly.
So now everybody back to the point. Aggressive defense not punished. Fleta is revived, but there will be no more revives for the next 30 seconds for Seoul.
All right, 5 ultimates now for Seoul, but Philadelphia Fusion really close to having 5 themselves. Seoul has to attack in a hurry here. They're going to go in with the Valkyrie. That's going to cause Neptuno to use his as well. EQO waiting for a chance to pull out that Dragon Blade. Miro in the Primal Rage, but he's very low health right now. Need to get some healing in there. EQO bumped out. Going for the kill on the Miro. They're going to focus him down, and they're going to get him. Meanwhile, Fraggy drops 2. Both Winston's out. Couple ultimates left. EQO throws in the Dragon Blade, but Carpe, the hero, with the double kill on the Pulse Bomb. That's both supports out of commission.
And that was Toby attempting to get a resurrection, looked like. At the end there, he was standing inside of the Transcendence, but Pulse Bomb will just do the work even through that heal over time. Self-destruct has to be used because we're so close to the end here.
I don't know if anyone can even get back there. It's only Munchkin on the point right now, forcing OT. Recalls for some help. Miro coming in, but again, at best, it's a 6v5. This Dragon Blade needs to be massive. Poco down. Fleta gets one. Needs a bit more. Gets a kill on the EQO. Back to his team for some healing. They may have just found a fight to turn it around. Carpe can delay. The flip happens. So, at the last possible second, Seoul stays alive.
Munchkin was the hero. The Philadelphia Fusion didn't know that he was still alive and so far behind the point. Neptuno is not watching his 6, and that means his 6 gets stuck by a Pulse Bomb.
Ouch.
And that's not where you want the Pulse Bomb to be, Noah.
No. Not sound fun. Seoul Dynasty has a long way to go if they want to hold this one. 99% for Philadelphia Fusion. All they need to do is flip it back. All they need to do is win one fight. Poco taking some damage. Munchkin getting pretty close to a Pulse Bomb. He gets that Orb of Harmony from Jaehong. All right, there's the Pulse Bomb. Now Philadelphia Fusion coming in. 50% for Seoul. There goes Boombox. Jaehong gets stuck though. Ooh, there's a big stick onto Neptuno, and he jumps into Fraggy as well. Munchkin once again coming up big for Seoul Dynasty. And Philadelphia Fusion has to go back to spawn. That's going to be near 70% now for Seoul.
Munchkin has been on fire for the Seoul Dynasty.
Yes, he has.
On Anubis, he helped them pull it out, and he's helping them bring it back now. Help them get both of their support ults back up. Philly has time, though, to build up Boombox and Neptuno's ult. Carpe has to make a run for it, while the rest of his team is on the point, though. He just has no way to get there.
Both teams using Valkyries. Philadelphia just flips it. Seoul muscled away from it. They got to go back and retake if they want to survive. Philadelphia Fusion trying to put the pressure on. Miro low health, but he's in the primal rage. Now Fraggy goes in and uses his Winston ultimate. Poco biding time. Nice kill on the Munchkin there. He can throw in the self-destruct anytime. Fleta, though, needs another big Dragon Blade, but EQL wants to deny it right here. Gets Toby. They're going to go ahead and try to flip it back, but... Or Seoul actually flipped it back somehow. They got it back during all that.
And Fleta is going to get the Dragon Blade out and then get the heal. It may not be enough. He dashes back in.
Wow, that point's been flipped so many times in the last minute or two. Miro just trying to stay alive, but he and Toby are the only ones there. And that may not be enough. No, Toby trying to delay as long as he can. Jaehong can't get there on the 76, and that's going to be Philadelphia Fusion winning Nepal 2-0.
Seoul so close to bringing it back at the end, but Philadelphia too much of an advantage, especially with Munchkin's early death in that fight.
I mean, it was such a puzzling, devastating Sanctum round for Seoul Dynasty that they really kind of put themselves in a situation where they couldn't make any mistakes there. Nice reflect, no kills, but cool to see either way. Philadelphia Fusion with the lead. They could win it on Route 66. Seoul still has a chance to tie it up, though. When we come back, don't go anywhere. More Overwatch League right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Let's get it.
We got a packed house here in the Blizzard Arena.
It's time.
Soon takes him out. Gamsu gonna go primal raid. Kobe comes in.
4K, more hydration.
And now Jester can go to town.
Libero getting all the kills right now. It's crunch time.
They need to be ready to bring out the A game.
They've got such incredible talent in this roster, and they are not holding back.
Oh, here we go. Who would have thought this would be so close? No way. Yes, it's happening. All the good stuff.
Philadelphia Fusion is up 2-1 against the Seoul Dynasty, and all they need to secure the victory is one more map, which in this case would be Route 66. At the end of halftime, I got to talk to their coach Jan about this very map, who actually told me that as of late, they haven't been spending too much practice time on it because they were more focused on maps they feel like they struggle on a bit more, like Junkertown and some others. So yeah, they haven't been focusing hard on it, but they've done pretty good on it in the past, so they are still confident, of course. And here's a fun little fact. If they manage to take this map, and more so this victory, they will be the third team in the league to have defeated every single other team in the Overwatch League at least once. The only other two teams who have managed that so far are NYXL as well as the Boston Uprising. You guys think they can make it happen? All right, let's find out. Next map coming up for you.
Thank you, Zoe. That's an interesting stat, actually. I did not know that.
Yeah, fun to see about the Philadelphia Fusion. Of course, the first team to beat the NYXL all the way back in Stage 1.
True.
Since then, they've made a lot of roster movements, additions, Snillo, EQO, both coming in. So Philadelphia Fusion, a team we expected to be strong by this point in time, and certainly they are, but maybe not right at the beginning. Was a surprise to see them get the NY win so early.
Yeah, sure enough. Well, Snillo coming in for our fourth map here, going to Route 66, subbing in for EQO.
And this is to be expected on this map. A lot of these Widow Tracer maps, it has been Snillo with Carpe's very successful sniping that has led the way to Philadelphia victories. They are 7-3 on Route 66 overall, and in fact, we've seen them do very well on this map recently. This is the map that they actually knocked the London Spitfire out of the Stage 2 playoffs on.
True enough. Yeah, it's a huge map for Snillo, too, to come in and kind of show that he can handle the pressure of being on the stage in that, like, high-tension match. And, yeah, it's kind of Snillo's playground is how I feel like Route 66 has become for the Philadelphia Fusion. A great opportunity for them to close out this series. After an odd first half, they really kind of took firm control of Nepal, kind of crushed that one. Seoul made it a little bit close on Shrine, but that's about it.
What I'll say about this match tonight is neither team appears to have brought their A game for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's been a weird night, but it's been a fun night.
It's been fun. It's been
for me.
It's been chaotic. We've seen some, I think, questionable strategies.
Well, everything looking fairly normal here so far as teams get set up. I don't think we're going to be seeing Jaehoong play the Zarya.
No,
I imagine things will look a little bit more normal soon.
I mean, Route 66, from what we've seen, the deeper we get into Overwatch League, it is difficult on points A and B to play basically anything except for Tracer Widowmaker.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Ever since the changes to Sombra came through where she can't charge her ultimate off of health packs. Obviously, Sombra play dominated Route 66 prior to the Sombra patch.
Yeah. 10 seconds. Seoul Dynasty on the attack. They've got a chance to tie up this series. Although their strength has not been on attack. It's been on defense. And after a rough loss on Nepal, can they bring it back around? Let's find out. Seoul Dynasty coming out. Jaehoong over on the Zenyatta, of course, never thought he would stay on the Zarya. That would be insane. More insane than usual. Fleta back on the Widowmaker, though.
I mean, this is where Fleta has to do the Widow versus Widow work that he has been extraordinary with to this point in Stage 3.
And he's got one of the best Widow opponents in the league in Carpe. Poco demec'd right away, got a little bit too far forward. Took a big shot, Fleta finishes him off. Rez gonna come in. Oh, but Fleta's right there to take out Carpe. They're gonna try to chase him. He gets out just in time to get the healing, but Boombox there to finish him. Seoul Dynasty still coming out ahead in this fight, though. They get Neptuno. And now without the Mercy, That's going to be an easy res onto Fleta, and Seoul Dynasty rolling through a lot of point A here.
And Fleta knew exactly what was coming when they got the kill onto Poco. He knew the resurrection was going to be there, but instead of trying to get an angle onto the Mercy, he instead looked for Carpe to come around the other side and snipe Carpe in return. Very nice Widow play from the side of Seoul, and they're almost through point A already.
Yeah, the delay comes in for Philadelphia Fusion. Poco gets demeched right away. Fraggy taking a shot as he advances onto the point. Toby in trouble, though. Oh, Zephyr saves him. There's a kill onto Fraggy, yeah. Box delaying as long as he can, but that's going to be an easy point A overall for Seoul. They've got 5 minutes to get through B.
Just throw a couple points on the payload if you are the Philadelphia, or tanks rather on the payload if you are the Philadelphia Fusion. Delay it for as long as you can. Downside is you do give Seoul an ability to post further forward on this second point through the streets of Route 66, and finally Boombox will be making his way back to the rest of his team. Fleta, the early infrasight, they're going to know that Boombox is coming out late.
Oh, that was a bold move to try to finish off Neptuno. Did enough damage so that Zephyr was able to get the kill. That's big. They're going to go ahead and use the Primal Rage on Miro to try to get a little bit more space. It's all about just pushing Philadelphia back and giving the payload room to move.
And they've really bought a lot of time. They struck right before Boombox could rejoin the team, targeted Neptuno, and Neptuno's still going to be making his way back, but that's a good starting kill for Philadelphia.
Yeah, Munchkin dropping is not great for Seoul. They're going to go in with the Transcendence now, Philadelphia is. Philadelphia trying to chase down Fleta. He's going to rocket away, tries to take the shot onto the Widow, can't quite hit it. Now Fraggy in the middle of Seoul Dynasty pushing them all the way back to spawn, and now Philadelphia should have a little bit of defensive stability here on B.
Yeah, as soon as that kill came in, again, it's been about this Mercy positioning. While the Mercy is busy resurrecting somebody, the team that is not doing the resurrecting is the one that's striking the front line. They invest the Transcendence into that, push the members of Seoul off the payload, and then Carpe gets the second headshot onto Munchkin to take the fight.
Yep. Well, and they actually force the self-destruct for the remix. Zephyr needs to get back in there. Oh, Fleta finds the kill into Fraggy, though. That is big Fraggy. What in the world was he doing all the way out there? He went full Fraggy.
He was chasing a kill, it would appear, but he dies in an inconvenient spot for the rest of his team.
Certainly does. Carpe, ooh, in a little bit of trouble. Nice shot onto Fleta as he grapples across, but Jaehong right there for the revenge. Snillo for the revenge, I guess. The res comes in onto Carpe. Munchkin down. So Seoul Dynasty sent packing. They've got 3 minutes now. 10 minutes taken away from the clock so far by Philly.
It's not revenge if it's a re-revenge. It's just venge.
Just venge at that point?
It's just venge at that point.
Gets the venge.
Now Snillo doing his normal Snillo things, lurking, waiting for other players to pass him by, and then striking. You least suspect it, although Jaehong may suspect it. He does suspect it.
Yeah, but he didn't have a right click loaded up, though. Fraggy just descends from the heavens to claim the kill.
I bet you didn't expect Fraggy to be there.
I've learned to not be surprised by these things anymore.
This is what I love about watching Philadelphia, though, is this Snillo-Fraggy synergy that's developed, because Snillo is very good at communicating with Fraggy where he is and where the supports are. And so, like a vengeful angel, Fraggy descends from the heavens to finish off the kill.
Like a large cherub, he crashes down upon his opponents.
Like a mighty Viking cherub.
That's right. Like a cherub with a full beard. Comes down, giggling. Both supports annihilated again. Seoul Dynasty with just 1:40 on the clock to try to keep pushing this. Philadelphia with a ton of ultimates to hold.
And Munchkin somehow has gotten deep behind the lines of the Philadelphia Fusion. He's actually inside the warehouse now. This is getting really weird. And Snillo also is in the cave, hiding behind this corner. Oh, he's like, no, too many.
Yeah, that's right. That's our whole team. Oh, we'll have that. Oh, Miro! Oh, I brought you something, Fleta, and it's exploding.
I think it was a damage-boosted pulse bomb, which is why it did so much damage. But coming into that, very interesting attack. He chipped Miro enough, regardless.
I mean, that pulse bomb is going to be enough to kill Fleta no matter what.
Well, no, to kill Miro.
Yeah, I think he just took some damage.
So
Seoul Dynasty with a few ultimates of their own to try to push forth, but only 50 seconds on the clock, and the payload is all the way back to where it began.
Yeah, it's just been sliding all the way back to the start of point B as Seoul's attack has fizzled out here on Route 66, and Fraggy once again on the flank trying to push. Oh, Snillo was there on the other side.
Attack. There was no escape. Trapped between Tracer and a large hairy place. There goes Jaehong. It's another 2 supports down. Philadelphia Fusion has been stopping Dynasty cold here on B.
Yes, they have, and a lot of that's that Fraggy Snillo synergy.
Yeah.
They're finding them no matter where they are.
Well, it's another epic defensive effort from one of these 2 teams here. You don't see many payloads getting held up here.
No, you don't, and Fraggy still
Here we go.
on the flank.
All right, we're into OT now. A lot of ultimates for Seoul to use. Fleta pops that in for a sight. Oh, but Carpe gets a kill into Munchkin.
Munchkin was trying to pulse bomb him, but Carpe just shot him.
That does not work out well. There goes Fleta. Snillo helps Fraggy get another one here. As Pulse Bomb comes in, Jaehong manages to dodge the damage with the Transcendence. Zephyr back in the mech, just in time, but he's kind of on his own there. Jaehong and Toby on top of the building by themselves, brawling it out, but not gonna last very long. Snillo finally finds the kill there, and that's OT expiring. Seoul Dynasty held up just at the beginning of B. That is gotta be frustrating.
Yeah, that was a great defense in the end by the Philadelphia Fusion. Snillo just reacting to everything. We'll take a look at what happened here with Carpe on the flank, because Munchkin tried to pulse bomb him here. We didn't get to see this, but yep, okay.
Oh.
He gets chunked out as he's coming in.
Turns into Tracer T-ball. Comes right at you. Easy to hit. I suppose T-ball.
The T-ball just stand there.
All right, that was a bad
The
analogy.
Tracer underhand pitch, let's put it that way.
Tracer softball.
The Tracer softball.
There you go.
There you go. We did it eventually.
Yeah.
We found the right analogy together. What a team we are.
Oh, I know, right? It's that synergy. Years of training have come to this point. Well, it's going to have to be another insane hold by Seoul Dynasty if they want to tie up the series. And after what happened earlier in this match, who knows?
Exactly. I'm not willing to write it off at this point, right?
It's possible, really, right? Yeah, I mean, even Fraggy's like, I don't know what universe am I in right now. But man, Fraggy and Snillo, that combo is probably one of the most fun thing to watch in Overwatch.
They are
right
really fun to watch. Their styles just complement each other so well.
They do, yeah.
Snillo's the one who lurks in wait, feeding Fraggy the information, and then Fraggy gets to jump forward aggressively, as he loves to do.
When sneaky meets crazy, it's Snillo and Fraggy.
It's a good tagline for their buddy show.
I know, that's right. I can see some sort of like, cop drama movie with them.
Cop comedy. Okay.
Right. Snillo and Fraggy, they're cops. That'd be a good one. Well, let's see if Seoul can put together a pretty good hold. Doa said, completely understating the situation. Yeah.
Will have to be quite an impressive hold.
Yeah.
So Fleta, of course, on the Widowmaker again. We're not going to see any switch up in composition from attack to defense between either of these teams. Poco is going to take one shot with the Hanzo and then straight back over to the Diva.
Sure enough. And the speed limit sign says 35 miles an hour, but I don't think I've ever seen the payload move that fast. If only.
If only it would move 35 miles an hour.
Here we go. The defense from Seoul Dynasty has to be aggressive here. They really can't allow Philadelphia to take point A. Ooh, Toby. That was a close call. Carpe missing that shot. Probably wants that one back. Payload moving, though. Seoul Dynasty has had to fall back. They're posting up on top of Big Earls for the moment.
Munchkin trying to finish off the kill onto Carpe, but the healing already there onto the Philly Widowmaker.
Yep. Ooh, Zephyr getting aggressive here, going in. Might get DMAC. That was close. Miro, meanwhile, up on the high ground, chases Fraggy away. Boombox down. Jaehong finds his Zen v Zen. The res is there, though.
They're still pushing forward. They're trying to make sure Philly can't move this payload. Miro gonna help Fleta get the kill onto Carpe.
Fleta wins the 1v1. Zephyr just runs Fraggy over. And so it's going to be a hold for now, as Philadelphia Fusion has to back away. Oh, they're going aggressive, man. I think they want to push him off the edge here. Neptuno way back. Wow, he's going to actually use the Valkyrie. They've got the respawn, so they can maybe take advantage of this. Seoul Dynasty realizes that, and as soon as the Valkyrie is popped, they back away. That's a smart move.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart move. They forced that Valkyrie. It was a trade between whether they were going to get staggered or whether the Valkyrie was going to get used.
Right.
And the only thing they traded for was a pulse bomb and an infrasight. Seoul setting themselves up pretty in terms of ult economy.
Self-destruct coming in. And now it's going to be the Valkyrie for Toby. Fleta does get the kill on the frag. He took a lot of damage in that jump a little bit earlier. Ooh, now Fleta in a little bit of trouble. Nice defensive matrix actually for Zephyr. That probably saved Fleta right there.
Yeah, it did. Snillo still tooling around in the backlines. Will get slammed into the wall by Zephyr's D.Va mech.
Welcome to Big Earls. Miro down though. Carpe finds a headshot onto the Winston. And Seoul Dynasty without their tank right now. Zephyr is still sitting on the payload. Gonna go deep. He gets the kill onto Carpe, actually chases him down, but now in danger of being demacked. He will be by Poco. Does not take a whole lot of damage. Ducking and weaving. He's got the Orb of Harmony. Poco has to run away. Boombox finds the kill onto Fleta though, so Seoul Dynasty pushed back.
Miro's back. Fleta is revived, so we're back to full strength for both of these teams.
And Poco nearly down. He's gonna use that self-destruct to get his mech back again. And the Transcendence coming out. Miro taken down by Carpe. Fraggy with the Primal Rage, just shoving Soul back, trying to get distance on that payload. Ooh, Fleta in a lot of trouble here. Fraggy, though, I guess he took enough damage that he had to get away.
Yeah, Fleta's still in the back with the infrasight up, and no one is harassing him right now.
Yep.
Everyone from the Philadelphia Fusion on the payload.
Miro's back. Neptuno uses that Valkyrie. Now Fraggy getting aggressive onto Fleta. Fleta pulls out the SMG. Fraggy low. Taken down. Munchkin there to finish it. Another kill onto Snillo too during all that. It's going to be the Transcendence used by Boombox. Neptuno pops his Valkyrie as well. Toby has his going. Both self-destructs going in. Neptuno down. No kills out of either self-destruct though, but Boombox does get Fleta. Seoul Dynasty still on the point, and I think they've held this one for now.
And they have, but there's not much time left. 30 seconds. Miro pushing for it. Fleta resurrected. Miro is not going to be punished. And now Philadelphia have to get on the payload with only 5 players.
This is crazy though. I mean, if they can finish A, they get more time. And if they get more time, they're almost certainly winning this map and winning the match.
I mean, there's no ults. Jaehong's the closest. He's going to have a Transcendence. That may be the difference maker.
It's pure individual skill at this point with no ultimates available. Low health member. Snillo, he's down. Somehow he killed himself. What in the world? He pulse bombed himself there. Zephyr, though, taken out by Boombox. Oh, and a crucial kill on Neptuno. Fleta going wild right now. But Philadelphia, they've nearly got it. Soul needs to get on the payload. Fleta gets 2, though. Coming alive with this Widowmaker. And are you kidding me? Philly's not done yet, but it is close. Toby gets Jaehong back up again. Over time, ticking, they lose Toby. Zephyr's still on there. A pulse bomb onto Fraggy, but he gets a Primal Rage off just in time, but he can't survive. A lot of damage onto him. Now Neptuno finished off eventually. There goes, or Snillo rather. And that's it. Seoul Dynasty, another insane hold, and we're tied up. We're gonna go to Oasis.
Somehow Seoul Dynasty has had 2 full holds on the Philadelphia Fusion.
In 4 maps, we have a total of 5 points taken. This is probably the most defense-heavy series I've ever seen.
Yeah, and oftentimes if we saw low points, it would be because one team is getting a 4-0, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. But this time they've been switching off. It's a 2-2 with only 5 points taken.
Oh, this match is crazy, but it is also extremely intense. Do not go anywhere, guys. When we come back, the match decided on Oasis right after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League. Guys, we're ready to get started with our final map of the day. It's going to be Oasis between Seoul Dynasty and the Philadelphia Fusion. Somehow, some way, we've gotten here to the tiebreaker. It's been a bizarre series. It's been a weird time, but it's been a fun time. What do you have to analyze, Monte Cristo?
It's been an okay time. The attacks.
I've enjoyed it.
The attacks from everyone have been relatively pathetic, in my opinion. But you know what? It's a control map, so both teams are attacking. So we can't see any kind of hard bias, I suppose, in that way. If that is the upside to all of this.
Yeah, EQO subbing in for Snillo, and I believe that'll be our only sub in this match here.
Yeah, it does make sense to have EQO brought back in for Oasis. We're going to see potentially a lot more Sombra play like we did in our 5th map earlier in the day. Certainly a strong possibility, and perhaps Fleta will go back into the Pharah, although it has been somewhat passé to play Pharah on Gardens with the changes to Sombra these days.
You know, who knows? It's especially with the way these teams are playing today, too. I have no idea what we're going to expect. I mean, maybe after Blizzard World,
don't either.
They don't really feel like playing Pharah. I don't know. I feel like if we go to University, that's a good point for Seoul. They've done fairly well traditionally with the triple tank, I think, but...
Yeah, it's a question for me as to whether they play the Junkrat. Certainly Fleta can bring it out, but if they had Wakid, because they're not making any kind of line or roster changes, only Snillo will be exiting this game. So now we are going to head to City Center as our first point on Oasis. And at first blush, it would appear EQO on the McCree and Fleta on the Pharah.
And so Fleta's going to need to stay pretty far back. But the issue is when Seoul Dynasty was running the Pharah on Blizzard World, they just weren't getting any kills with this type of composition. So,
but there's a lot more open space to follow up on. I think the big problem with Blizzard World is that the defense can very quickly fall back into buildings and avoid any follow-up damage that would result in an elimination. Here, it's not so easy if you're on the point to dart out into safety before someone can dive on you and finish off that kill.
Let's knock them into traffic. But they're going to need to stay at range, though, with that McCree coming in. Wants to stay at the point where McCree's shots start to have that damage fall off. Don't want to give him full damage here. But Fleta being aggressive, coming from above. That's a good doorway to get some damage in. The defensive matrix is going to need to be good. They've kind of split Fraggy off from the team a little bit here. Still not capitalizing, though. That's zoning from Fleta, maybe to let them jump in onto Fraggy here. Fraggy taking a lot of damage. He's down. Zephyr gets that kill. Oh, but EQO finds Fleta. The Reds comes in immediately, though. Jaehong brings him back up again. Jaehong was over on the Mercy this time because Toby, on his famous Lucio pick, gets the kill onto Boombox. He is an aggressive Lucio, no doubt about it. Seoul Dynasty, though, pushing Fusion back. Carpe trying to turn the fight around. Time to make a little art on the wall, I suppose. Boombox brought back up again. Now Munchkin comes in. There's the stick onto Fraggy. Oh, but Carpe there with the kill. Toby with the finishing blow on the Winston, though. Philadelphia and the Fusions. Philadelphia.
Philly and the Fusion.
I don't know. Philly and the Fusions. A great band from the 80s, but also a team that just took the point.
I love it. And that attack actually ended up fine because they bring back in Fraggy, but they had saved their resurrection. They bring up Boombox right as the rest of the Philadelphia Fusion are back, converging onto the point, and they take the fight back to the Seoul Dynasty.
So now we have a situation where Jaehong is playing Mercy. That has not been traditionally great for Seoul, despite what a good support he is. Ooh, but there's a kill on the Carpe. Fraggy goes down, so Seoul just storming back in to try to take this one in a 6v4. They're going to cause Neptuno to use that Valkyrie. They get the res onto Fraggy. Boombox very close to the Transcendence. Zephyr nearly DMAC, but now the sound barrier comes in. Fleta goes and uses a barrage, lives through it, which you don't see very often. Philadelphia Fusion dropping a lot of ultimates themselves. That's a lot of damage onto the supports, and Munchkin capitalizes. The DPS coming up big for Seoul Dynasty. They've nearly got it flipped right now. Just kills on the tanks are all they need. Fraggy down, and we'll see if they can keep changing it around. Carpe the only ones, and yeah, they will flip it. But it is 57% for Fusion, so that was a great hold.
Yeah, it was a good stall from the Philadelphia Fusion. They drew a lot of ults out of the Seoul Dynasty also. Everyone low in percent except for Munchkin. Pulse Bomb doesn't necessarily have the same game-changing implications as some support or tank ultimates do.
Right.
And now Philly trying to make their return here. Munchkin seeing if anybody's going to come back around the side by the cars. He has a bead on the Mercy.
Oh, he misses the pulse bomb. Oh, that's a problem. Gonna try to get away as best he can. Gets flashbanged. Survives somehow, but Boombox the one taken out. There goes Fraggy too, so Seoul Dynasty using the confusion to pick up a couple picks.
EQO, that's a nice kill onto Jaehong. Eliminating the Mercy will give them time to resurrect EQO and get back a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Especially since Fraggy's going to be able to jump back into the action. So there will be a 6 versus 5 now in favor of Philly.
Yeah, Jaehong walking his way back. Toby speed boosts him actually. Watching on that overview, we went out to bring the Mercy back as fast as he could. Zephyr gets demech though. Seoul trying to hold as best they can, but it's going to be Philadelphia Fusion getting very close to flipping it already. Fleta and Toby down, so the effort to bring Jaehong back splits the team up, and that's a problem.
And Philadelphia Fusion has done what the Seoul Dynasty tonight has not, which is pushed an advantage with a 6 versus 5. Seoul has struggled with capitalizing enough with a player advantage. That time Philadelphia takes control of the timing window, and they just keep on pushing forward.
And now Seoul Dynasty pinned back by Spawn. They're gonna cause Jaehong to use the res on Miro way back there. 80% for Philadelphia Fusion now. They're gonna have Seoul Dynasty rather, will have 2 support ultimates coming into this one.
Yeah, Philly's close to 2 themselves. Matter of time.
True.
Until Boombox gets that transcendence.
And Toby needs to beware here. There's the sound barrier coming in. Zephyr out of the mech anyway, though. It didn't save him. Now Transcendence used. Both support ultimates used by both teams here. But Philadelphia at 99%. Seoul Dynasty scrambling to hold on here. Carpe gets a health pack. That's big. Munchkin has to retreat from the fight. Self-destruct comes in. Fleta down. EQO kills him with the McCree. And now Miro jumping in. They get the kill on the Boombox. Seoul Dynasty trying to turn this one around, but they need to keep people on the point, and now they've lost both supports. Philadelphia Fusion in prime position to take the first point here on Oasis. Just Munchkin and Zephyr left right now.
And it's just Munchkin now, and that's going to be it.
Philadelphia Fusion taking the lead on Oasis. Looking pretty dominant here.
Yeah, they do. These control maps have worked out well for them this evening.
Yeah.
And they put themselves on match point, and the point will be University.
So we'll see what Seoul decides to bring out for that one.
I mean, this is the Fraggy playground, though. This is where he gets to play the Reinhardt.
Good point.
Play super aggressive. He has been fantastic on this point. He is definitely in the conversation for best Reinhardt in Overwatch League. He is a better Reinhardt than Miro is.
Absolutely.
And Neptuno will play the Lucio, and Neptuno has been fantastic on this point of putting enemy Reinhardts in the hole. So let's watch his wall riding, because he gets crazy good moves on this point.
And again, if you knock a tank like that down into the pit in the middle of the room, they're not dead, but they might as well be, because they're not in the fight anymore.
And they're not contesting the point.
Miro in trouble here. Fraggy just going in and swinging. He's like, heal me. Left click is the way to go.
Left click is the way of life, and he's already 60% of the way to an Earth Shatter compared to 25% of Miro. He gets these so fast.
Yep. Not surprising at all, man. That's just what he does.
He's gonna have this shatter real soon.
Yep, that's right. He's
There
got
it
it
is.
now. Jumps in. Ooh, not sure if he got that one or not, but here comes the Riptire. Yeah, it was blocked by Miro. Fleta does find Boombox with the Riptire, though. And now Jaehong coming back in with the Coalescence. So the first attack for Philly does not work out. Seoul Dynasty winning the fight. And if they can clear off the rest of the members, they can take the point first.
And speaking of big ults, Munchkin with a really fast Graviton Surge. Both of our Moira players dropping the Coalescences. Fraggy, too fast on the Shatter. Dropped it right into Miro's shield.
Yeah, so now Miro's going to have his Earth Shatter at a time when he really could use it.
Now, Carpe and EQO also going to make changes.
Oh, yeah?
They're going to be on the Junkrat now and the Zarya. They want to match, and there's a big Graviton.
Oh, all right. Seoul Dynasty pouring all the damage they possibly can into it. Sound Barrier comes in. Miro's Earth Shatter gets Fraggy and Neptuno, but they don't get the kills to follow it up with. Jaehong trying to keep Miro up. With that healing, there's a Coalescence coming in. They're going to burn right through Fraggy. Neptuno down as well. Seoul holding pretty strong so far.
That was basically everything Seoul had. They didn't get the combo they wanted with the Graviton Surge, so now they're on the back foot. Munchkin will get exploded by a self-destruct.
Yeah, and there's no mercy to bring him back either, so that's just going to be a 6v5. This tire needs to be big. needs a couple kills. Oh, he gets Fraggy, and I think he might have gotten him. No, the animation got off, but Seoul Dynasty winning the fight anyway.
Yeah, that shatter, no one in the line of sight of the shatter, so yes, it went down. No, it didn't do anything. Fraggy has not had luck with the shatters on University yet.
This is the first time I think we've ever seen Fraggy really kind of struggling with the Reinhardt on University.
They have a Graviton now, though, and a Riptire, Philadelphia.
That could be big. Seoul trying to escape here. Munchkin got a little bit low. They're trying to keep him alive. There's a Graviton Surge onto Seoul. EQO takes out the Fleda's, or Fleda takes out EQO's Riptire, rather. The combo denied. Now the Graviton Surge comes in, and they've got the Coalescence. Philadelphia Fusion losing members. It's 90% for Seoul Dynasty, and they will chase for the stagger.
And this is looking like 100-0 for the Seoul Dynasty. Poco is there floating above the point.
Yeah, can they deny him? Poco, no, gets in there. They force the OT. That's going to let Fraggy get back again. Trying to swing away onto Jaehong, who fades to safety. Zephyr, meanwhile, onto Fraggy. That's a big kill right there. OT, Zephyr sitting pretty with that self-destruct and a run Poco over, and we are tied up on Oasis.
And Seoul has been running a lot of multi-tank compositions in the last couple of weeks. Now we're seeing it bear fruit. They were just fantastic, and honestly, I'm confused as to why the Philadelphia Fusion tried to switch off to the Zarya and Junkrat to mirror that composition, because it reset their ult economy and basically put them permanently behind Seoul.
The big moment, too, was when they got that Graviton Surge. Philly did, but when they tried to send in the Riptire, Fleta was there to kill it, so the combo just never happened.
Yeah, absolutely. They couldn't get the combos to work. Meanwhile, Seoul making it look easy. And now everything comes down to this final point. It really could determine a lot about our stage playoffs.
No kidding. This is a really big one. Philadelphia and Seoul both coming into this one 3-3. Only one map separates these guys in terms of differential, too. That hunt for the 4th place spot. Good hinge on how this one ends. There's a kill on the EQO. Fleta now over on the Munchkin. He's like, all right, you can play the far if you want. I'm going to go for the hit scan. And Seoul Dynasty rolling over Philly on this first attack.
Yeah, Fleta making it look easy. Power damage boosted on the McCree.
That helps.
Picks EQO out of the sky, and EQO will be having no more of that. Switches to the McCree himself, but again, a later swap after Seoul takes the point.
So Seoul Dynasty ahead in the ultimate economy. EQO over on his own McCree now. Whoa! Fleta capitalizing on the damage from Jaehong to finish that one off. They have the res, but it's not how you generally want to use it.
No, it's not, and at the very least gonna get more time here. Fraggy is trying to hide. He actually has to leap out and use his bubble just to survive.
Oh, that was a close one. That was a very close one. Lots of shots coming in from Fleta. They get the D-Mech onto Poco. Box taking a lot of damage, and Fleta is so accurate here. No, and Munchkin gets in the back, and he gets a double kill. Neptuno with the Pulse Bomb. He actually gets 3.
I mean, Munches is cleaning up what Fleta's dealing. Honestly, Fleta landed a lot of shots, and Munchkin was just going from player to player.
Check this
cleaning
out.
that one up, starting with that Pulse Bomb.
Munchkin becomes the janitor of Gardens here, finishing off the damage. Like you said, that Fleta was able to load into Philadelphia Fusion. It's 60% already for Seoul, and they've got a massive ult edge.
Yeah, they are in really good shape to take this. Fleta absolutely dominating the Philadelphia Fusion.
Oh, Poco demeched immediately. Fraggy a little bit in trouble here. He's got about half health. The healing comes in now. Poco back in the mech. They weren't able to punish him for using that self-destruct. Munchkin doing some damage. Didn't have the Pulse Bomb. Would have loved to throw that stick in there. Toby popped the Valkyrie, though. Nero down. This is an opportunity for Philadelphia. Deadeye comes in. Boombox gets caught by Fleta. And Jaehong with that Transcendence gonna set up Seoul to get aggressive here. Toby gets the res. Nice protection from the Transcendence to do that.
And it's all in now for the Philadelphia Fusion. Both support ultimates. And they have to win this fight as we go to 99.
Now they will win this fight as well. Taking out the supports, taking out Fleta. Fleta through the flashbang a tiny bit too early as a dive came in. And Philadelphia takes the fight, 99%. But I mean, this is that point where we seem to always see it go 99 to 99.
Gardens notorious for the 99 to 99 ties, but still Philadelphia Fusion have to make it there. Fortunately for Philadelphia, Seoul invested just as much as they did.
And they did.
In that attack, so it's going to reset everything.
Whoa,
but
Jaehong.
Damage boosted. Volley will take Boombox's head off.
Yeah, the res is there. But it is down now, and now Neptuno's down. Miro with a successful dive, finishing that one off. Munchkin gets killed off, but it's an edge here for Seoul. They'll flip it back. We're into OT. Toby down Carpe with a big pick. Can Philadelphia Fusion turn it around right now? They need to. Carpe needs to be a hero, and he's killed both supports. Fleta now, he needs to be a hero. There's a D-Mac. Poco popping out, taken down. Overtime expiring. Fraggy back in again. Fleta needs to stay back. He can't get dove. Fraggy's gonna find him anyway. There's the flashbang. Fleta barely stays alive, 40 health, and Seoul Dynasty wins it. Somehow, some way, they get the win over Philadelphia Fusion.
Off the back of Fletadoa, who did 29% of his team's damage on Oasis. That is an extremely high figure. 15,000 on the map, over 12,000 per 10 minutes.
I mean, when it came down to it, I think you got to give this one to Munchkin and Fleta on this whole Dynasty side.
You do.
This was a DPS win through and through for Seoul.
I agree for you. Seoul looking to break out of their slump. Seoul looking to stay alive in the stage playoffs, and they will just, but they have a tough schedule ahead of them.
I mean, they're going to move to 4-3, and they improve their map differential a tiny bit, but yeah, like you said, they've got a tough schedule. They need to win a lot more. For that and more, the desk is going to break down this match. Let's see what they've got to say.
Thank you so much, Doa, and this is great news if you're a Valiant or a Gladiators fan. The two LA teams in the top 4 now. Seoul jumps up to 5th place above the Shock, and honestly, if you're a Philadelphia fan or one of our analysts here on the desk, you did not see this result coming.
That was so
No,
bizarre.
we really did not, because the game was so weird. Seoul was playing completely uncharacteristic. Granted, very good for what Seoul is doing now that you have Munchkin legitimately becoming a major threat, but Philly just dropped the ball. That's it.
Incredible finish by Fleta, though, and we got to catch you up with how we got to this finish. It all started game number 3. We went into the control with a tied series. Seoul on the first half, able to tie things up. Johnny, what do we see on Nepal, though?
Even the crazier things. There's no Orisa, there's no Junkrat, it's Dive with a Genji and a Widowmaker on Sanctum. So we've seen Seoul Dynasty play some triple tank here in the past. They're not really comfortable. Neptuno from Philadelphia, he says that Nepal is probably one of our worst maps. So neither team really comfortable. Then we get into a dive battle onto Shrine, and this is where the raw skill of Philadelphia Fusion just overpowers the Seoul Dynasty. But overall, Nepal just continued to be just uncharacteristic of both teams, really.
Yeah, Philly doesn't really play it, and I was keeping track of the fights, and that map actually had 10 fights, 8 of them going Philadelphia's way, almost just a one-sided affair, but the fact that Route 66 was a full hold, and by the way, I have to say it, I've been telling you guys this whole time, Munchkin actually ended up flanking on point B and literally waiting for 1 minute and 33 seconds, doing nothing. He sat there behind everyone, just looking at walls, and they still won the game.
What an incredibly patient tracer, that Munchkin. Incredibly patient. Honestly, though, Philly should have locked it up on Route 66. That is what they'll be thinking about tonight, because this game 5, so close, but you can't mess with Fleta when it comes to control.
No, you can't really mess with Fleta. Obviously, the McCree is better than the Pharah when it comes down to city center, but then really unexpected, uncharacteristic. Once again, Fraggy doesn't do anything on the Reinhardt of University.
Shatters.
And instead, it's Seoul Dynasty with the triple tank. And sure, Monty mentioned it. They have been playing a lot of triple tank. I said it myself on Sanctum Nepal, obviously. But still, you don't expect them to beat Philadelphia when it comes down to triple tank. And then they clutched it out on Gardens.
Munchkin with some massive plays. Fleta on the McCree set him up for a number of those kills. But honestly, this was Seoul's DPS shining in the final game and locking things up. And that brings us to the final moment of this match, which, of course, it's time to crown our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Is it Fleta? Not today, son. We're going with Munchkin. They threw him in instead of Fleta for game number 1. They get the win on Anubis. He comes up clutch in game 5 as well.
He did, but in game 1, as we're looking at it now, I think he was almost solely responsible for this hold. His Widowmaker was impressive. I did not expect him to be able to deliver a performance that you would have expected out of Fleta. His Tracer on point as always, and the fact that he was being a little creative with some of his angles. a new flavor for Seoul.
Johnny, we already knew Munchkin was great. Good enough to release Bunny from the lineup because you had that solid of a tracer. What's the potential of this guy moving forward? Because Seoul is still in the hunt, but they have such a tough
honestly,
road.
This game was a bit surprising for me because, sure, Munchkin is a pretty good tracer, but we have so many good tracers in the league. So I didn't really think that highly of Munchkin necessarily, but in this series versus Carpe versus Snillo, I mean, he really turned up. I mean, versus Snillo, he didn't really do anything. But versus Carpe, he shot him down. So impressive performance from Munchkin, of course.
Very big stuff coming across. I mean, it was kind of sloppy, as Monty said, if you go back and watch the VODs, but at the end of the day, a result is a result. Here are the updated stage standings. As we take a look at our stage standings, Seoul now tied with Houston in 5th place. The LA teams, of course, jumping into the top 4, but this is still anyone's game. We still got 2 more days to go here in week 4 and 4 more next week.
Yeah, it is a tall order for Seoul to make it, but their schedule, I mean, if they get the wins, that's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if your opponents are weaker or not. If you're playing to a level where your DPS can beat out anybody, you're going to have a good time.
And you'll notice London has slipped, not only in stage 3, but also behind Seoul, currently in 4th place. Keep your eyes as the standings will continue to change up tomorrow. We kick off the action with the Uprising, the only unbeaten team in stage 3, going up against the Dallas Fuel. We'll see Houston versus Gladiators, though, and arguably the most important match of the day.
Absolutely, it is the most important match because both of these teams need to take the win or they will likely be overtaken in the stands for the Stage 3 playoffs.
Johnny, I know it was a tough day for you here at the desk, but was there a bright moment? Is there anything great that the fans should go back and watch on OverwatchLeague.com?
I mean, honestly, this game that just happened, the defensive play that came through, Doa said it himself, 5 points in 4 maps. There was 3 first point holds. It was a ridiculous game. I can't even talk.
We broke Johnny's brain with the level of gameplay tonight, guys. That's going to do it for us here at the desk. Thanks for watching. Remember, we're live every day, 4 p.m. as long as it's a weekday. On Saturdays, it's 1 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow, though, we're kicking off 4 p.m. Pacific. And tonight, we close out with a very special AMA. Who is it, guys? It's Poco!
Oh.
Get your questions in right now. Send them on Twitter. And, of course, watch him live on the Twitch All Access Pass.
Ask you about the flip-flops.
If you're in the Los Angeles area, come experience Overwatch League Live at Blizzard Arena. For tickets, check out access.com.
Hi guys, I'm Poco from Philadelphia Fusion, and I'm here to answer a question from the Twitch Overwatch League Fusion All Access Pass. So, how did you choose the name Poco? It was randomly at the age of 7. I fucking smashed my keyboard and there it is. Poco came from there. Question from Latida Pirops 1. If you could go anywhere to travel, where would you go? I will probably go to my home country and hug my mom. Question from PCK Cat. If you were stranded on a desert island with only one character, who would you want it to be? Probably Symmetra, because I could TP back to wherever I want. Question from Leg Days here. How do you maintain your athletic lifestyle while working so many hours from the OG? We don't play that much. I like to wake up pretty early in the morning, like 8 or 9. Then I usually stream or play some matchmaking. And then we upstream for 4 to 6 hours a day. And after that, I like to go to the gym. We have a gym in the gaming house, so it's pretty chill and I like that. Question from Firebay1. Some way the Fusion can grow as a team? I guess we can improve a lot on the communication because we have 9 different countries in the team, so the communication is always an issue because we don't always speak good English. So yeah, improving the communication, and it's gonna help as well the atmosphere on the team. Question from Jaka Dorgas. How comfy are the fish flops? They're actually really comfy. I wear them all the time when I'm not playing. You should buy them. Question from Park Jams. How does circling work on the Fusion? So like I told, we have 9 different countries, and everybody's kinda short calling. It's like we don't really have one guy who is just do the short call. When, for example, Froggy has an ultimate and he said, okay guys, I want to use my ultimate, try to follow me on this fight, or he calls a blade, he's just gonna make a plan and we're gonna all follow him. So we don't really have a short caller. It's like everybody gave a plan. Question from Better Toast. What is always your goal to play pro? Was it always your goal to play pro when you started playing Overwatch, or was it something that can just happen? No, I never really tried to become pro player. I just started to play the game, had fun with friends, and somebody contacted me and said, hey, you're pretty good, you wanna join the team? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. Question from Bot2. Who's your favorite hero to play in an off-meta role? I would say Mei or Reaper, because you can easily 1v1 people. It's funny. Question from the Link Wink. Do you know how to dance? No idea. DBZ Flips ask, favorite hero and why? It's probably gonna be Zarya, because she's tanky, she has bubbles, so she can help teammates, and she can do a lot of damage if she is well charged. So yeah, Zarya definitely. Dot Cupcake, can you give me 3 main tips to improve on the tank of the off tank role? You don't wanna die, that's for sure. What else? You wanna be aware of the flanker position on Monkey and Tracer all the time. You wanna know all the time where they are. And also you wanna peel for your backlane and keep them alive. That's really important. Another question from IC Respect. How do you warm up or practice as a tank player before an important match? I usually wake up pretty early to be really warm up. So I'm mostly gonna do matchmaking, and then we're gonna play scrims. That's it. Nothing fancy. Question from Buck6. Since there are so many jobs in a team comp, what type of thought process goes into deciding what is the most optimal play is? Deciding when to peel for support as opposed to playing aggressively. So yeah, with D.Va you can do whatever you want. You can peel, you can play aggressive, you can do so much things. But the most the better thing to do right now is to peel for your backline. So you're gonna play as 4-man units. It's gonna be Diva, a DPS, whatever, Macri, Soldier, you don't care. Zenyatta and Mercy, who's gonna play in the backline, and there's gonna be Monkey and Tracer who's gonna try to dive. So yeah, most of the time you want to be aware of where is the Monkey and pressure him a lot, break the bubble, and matrice the Tracer abilities, the Tracer shooters. Another question from Mandoline. What is one thing people would be surprised to find out about you? Secret skill, hobby? I can't do that with my throat. I don't know. That's it. Hello. How do you maximize from Nagitio? Excuse me. How do you maximize your defense matrix with Zage? What ability should I look to block? So you really wanna at the beginning of the fight you're gonna play with Monkey. So you want to take the less damage possible. What ability should I look to block? The Zenyatta right click, Soldier, Helix, I would say, and Ultimate, obviously, like Tracer Bomb. You wanna know when she has it. Also Zarya Graviton, I mean, all the Ultimate probably in the game. Another question from Eri Shimura. Was there any player who votes that you watched to learn technique on Diva or other heroes? No, not really. I mean, I do watch a lot of stream, but I kinda play a lot of the game and I improve by myself. Question from What is Pringles? Which member of your team will be the most useful in a post-apocalyptic survival situation? Probably Fraggy. I don't know. He's just gonna protect you and he's gonna put you on his back and kill people and chase. Fraggy is a beast. You don't want to be against him. Question from Luna B. If you could be any animal, real or fantasy, what will it be? Tough question. I don't know. I like giraffe. I like pigeon. Why not a giraffe? A mix. And the last one from The Cold Soul. How much practice did you put into your self-destruct angle? A lot. A lot. Like, I remember I was practicing 2 or 3 hours a day before each practice we had to find the good position to position myself and yeah, to do kills. Thanks everyone for the Q&A. It was Poco, it was fun. Be sure to follow me on Twitter @Poco and also on my stream. Thank you.